Alrighty. All right, everyone. Again, good morning and welcome to today's monthly coaching topic. We are going to go over operating support, grant payments, and payment requests, and a few updates on what's been going on. So Kathy's going to take it from here, and then we'll get into more screen sharing things later.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So we just wanted to kind of give you an update, bring you together and let you know what is going on now with the final payments for operating support and that holding back of that 20% until your final payment at the end of the year. So we are operating now on flat funding for the year. We don't anticipate any further mid-year cuts at this time. So we have been authorized to go ahead and release that 20% that we have been withholding. So that's where we stand with that. And with that, I'm going to let Amber talk about how we're proceeding with those payments.
Hi, everybody. So with those pay requests, we did send out an email to everyone, all of our operating support grantees, just to kind of let you know what the update was. And then, of course, for grantees who have met their match in previous pay requests, we're currently going through the process of automatically releasing the remaining 20% of your grant award. So there's nothing that you have to do. That's already been in process. You should receive payments in our it could take 4 to 6 weeks. We always like to give that. It's great if they come faster, but sometimes it's just out of our hands. And then, of course, for grantees who have not yet met their match requirement in previous pay requests, you will need to submit that second pay request or final pay request. Those who still needed to send us one of those, you have been assigned that, and you should have already received your email notification that that is now assigned to you. There are some who are still on their first payment, and that's okay. Don't get discouraged if you see like the past due little orange box that pops up and it says was due like December 1st. That's okay. You can still submit that. And if you have any questions about that, please reach out to us. We do also have a few little guides and video tutorial on interim payment requests, and we'll touch on that later. But that's really all we have as far as those updates. Please continue to complete them as you normally would, just showing us all of your operating expenses for that time period that's reported. We like to see everything. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and touch on the grants coaching. Is that what we're going to do, Kathy? Just a few little updates.
Let's, yeah, we could do that.
All right. So with that, let me go ahead and screen share with you guys. All right. All right. Do you see the grants coaching on your screen?
Mine's still kind of loading. Everybody else's might have loaded, but mine's trying to load.
All right, hold on just a moment.
Yep, I'm there.
Okay, perfect. All right. So as you guys are probably very familiar with now, we do have our grants coaching page, which is always accessible. If you click over here in grants, just click on it's okay. Come all the way down here to the side and you enter grants coaching. So I'm going to hand it back over to Kathy to kind of go over what's coming up.
Okay. Well, let's talk about, since we're talking about payments, let's show them the payment tutorials that's in there, if we could, Amber.
Sure. All right, so we'll go to our monthly topic session page.
Yes.
There we
so
go.
The interim payment request was one of our monthly topics that we had back in December. So if you ever need to revisit that, the video is now available through our coaching website. I mean, not website, but webpage, excuse me. That's on our website. And as you can see, the videos for all of the monthly topics that we have had in the past are on there as well. So this is a good resource if to kind of refresh your memory of how the processes work if you need that. And then we also have our one-on-one calls, which are growing in popularity. So if you have a topic that you need to discuss, if you need technical assistance or some other grant related topic, just you can schedule with us a 15-minute session or a 30-minute session, depending on how long you think you need to talk with us. And we will meet with you one-on-one and talk about whatever it is you need to talk to us about. And we also, if necessary and with availability, we can bring our program specialist in to help advise you on that topic that you're needing us to discuss with you. So that's a little one-on-one. Like I said, that's kind of really growing in popularity, and I think our grantees are really finding that useful, grantees and applicants both. So coming up in our monthly topics in April, we're going to talk about final report preparation and best practices. So this is just a general overview of what's needed in our final reports, and then kind of the best practices for preparing to do those final reports, which for operating support grantees, you will have access to that in July, and they're due on April 15th. I mean, August 15th, sorry, excuse me. Getting my months mixed up. And then in May, we're going to talk about how you update your grant contacts if there's changes to within your organization of who needs to be the contact for your grants. Then we'll talk about how you can go about that. And then finally, in June, for operating support grantees, we're going to talk about the new process that we're putting in place for filing your final report and application during the same period. Because that information is all stuff that you're reporting on for this past completed fiscal year, we're consolidating that so you don't need to go in twice to give us that same information. And if this year, group 1 will be the group that will be putting in an application. So group 2 and group 3 are just doing what's needed in the final report, and group 1 will go through the further collection of information for an application. Okay, Amber? Oh, deadlines. Just to give you a little insight into the deadlines that we have coming up. We have on this Friday arts education projects. So any of you that have started your arts education projects, I would recommend that you get those wrapped up and get them in. This is a highly competitive grant program. It does have a good bit of applicants. So you want to make sure that you really have a good project and well-written grant in that category to really score high. District Arts, which is for school districts. We have our folk life and traditional arts grants, which is for organizations. So if you have a program that you fits in the folk life and traditional grants category, traditional arts, category, then this might be a good place for you to get some project funding for a specific project for folk life and traditional arts. And that deadline is going to be on the 15th of March. Accessibility. Our accessibility grants are still open. With the rolling deadline of being submitting at least 6 weeks before the project begins. And then the final deadline for that is April 20th. So by April 20th, any projects that you have that are going to happen from April 20th to June 30th must be submitted at that time. I think that's it, Amber. Do you have anything to add to the little info about what's up coming up?
No, I think you covered it very well. So,
Hey,
yeah.
Laurel, do you have anything you want to? You're good? Okay. Well, let's open it up and see if anybody has any questions for us. Please feel free to unmute yourself. I think this was a pretty straightforward topic and probably not going to be a lot of questions, but if you have a question about something else besides the payments, let us know. We're happy to answer those as well. And like we said, there'll be more coming to you about this whole new process. I don't think you'll find content a whole lot different on the operating support applications and the final report. It's more of, we are trying to streamline a little bit with that, but it's also more of just consolidating that into that same period. So with that, if there's no questions, one more chance. If there are no more questions, we thank you for joining us today, and we hope you found this helpful, and we will see you in the upcoming month.
Oh, we have a question.
We have a question.
At the end of it. So the first payment installment included first 5 months of the fiscal year. Should final report include the remaining 8 months?
So on your final report, you're going to report on the full fiscal year. So we're going to ask you for your total expenses, your total income. What else is it? Is there a third one, or is that it? Total expenses and total income for the full year.
Mhm.
If you are applying, you will then give us a full budget form. But if final report, we're just asking for those two figures, your total income and your total expenses. Anything else? That was a great question.
And typically, I'll state, because we do get that question a lot about the time period. Typically, it is will go in line with our fiscal year, the July 1st to June 30th.
Yeah.
But we do understand that some organizations work on calendar year, and that's acceptable as well. We're happy to answer any questions about that. The 20% of your operating support grant award will be, we like to have all of those awards paid out by June 1st, if not June 30th. You do not have to wait to receive the 20% remaining at your final report. That's due August 15th or 14th, 16th.
Yeah. 15, 16, yeah. So operating support is different from all of our project support or project grants, where we do hold and release 20% at the final report. Because your final report, we're wanting you to report on your full fiscal year, which we use as calendar wise, we time it with our fiscal year. So because that falls after the end of our fiscal year and we need to pay you out within our fiscal year, you get your full award prior to final report. So you'll get that. We need to get those final payments in, and we'll be in contact with you when we get to that timeline deadline and needing to get those out. If you haven't submitted it and you need to, we'll make sure we get that from you.
We will follow up with you. We promise.
Okay. Any other questions? Was that it, Amber? Yeah. Okay.
So far in the chat. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Well, again, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.